Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are just gonna jump straight in and continue with our HRCYED 3 prompts and my TBR. And we have reached cover styles. And this is basically reading 4 books with different cover styles. And that can be like any type of style that you think is different from each other. So I feel like this is one of the prompts that you can quite easily double up with something else, because as you are reading all the books for these other prompts, there are bound to be 4 different cover styles in there somewhere. But in case you don't want to double up, and in case you need some recommendations, I have 4 for you. First off, we have I'm gonna say a movie tie-in cover. I'm not sure this is still from the movie, but it does have the movie tagline on it, and this is In Her Shoes by Jennifer Weiner. I never know. Basically about 2 sisters who are quite different from each other, and they have sort of a blow up, fight, and leave each other, and then basically they each find themselves in different ways. And in the end, they come together. Is that a spoiler? I don't think so. Anyway, then we have Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. This is, of course, like a cartoonish style cover. And I feel like a lot of, especially romance, has these cartoon style covers. This is like medieval, what's it called, King Arthur inspired fantasy, where we have Gwen and Art, and they are supposed to get married, but obviously they are not in love. So we just follow them as they try to figure out how to navigate this arranged marriage and the politics that are concerned in that. And also we have some major character growth, especially from Art, which I really appreciated. Then we have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I absolutely love this series, and it's funny because I recently went back to see how I had rated this first book, and I only gave it 3.5 stars, which is like meh for me. But the later books in the series I absolutely love. 5 stars all around. So I'm thinking I might have to reread this one and see if I really meant the 3.5 stars. Yeah. And then finally we have Lovely War by Julie Berry, and this is a sort of photographic cover. And this is about Greek gods coming down to earth and sort of, I can't remember if they're actually participating or if they are just like sort of putting wagers on, I believe it's the First and the Second World War. Yeah. Well, the god held the fates and the hearts of 4 mortals. So I do believe it is 2 from the First World War and 2 from the Second World War that we are following. And also these Greek gods are like having a say in it. But again, one I could do to reread. I really loved it when I read it years ago, but it has been a while. And as for my TBR, as I said, I feel like this is one that you can slot books into as you read for other prompts. So this is just in case I don't fit anything else in. First up, we have Till Summers Do Us Part, which is one of those cartoony romance covers I talked about before. And this is a fake marriage romance because this woman ends up lying to her boss that she's married, and the boss is like, but you're not wearing a wedding ring, so like what's going on? And then she spins this tale about being unhappily married and yada yada yada, and the boss ends up offering marriage counseling from his wife, who's like the best marriage counselor in the area, and the woman doesn't really feel like she can decline, so she ends up enlisting her best friend's brother, who just loves improv, so he's like, let's go for it. and somehow they end up agreeing to this 8-day summer camp of marriage counseling. I don't read a lot of romance, but my favorite trope is like fake dating, fake marriage, arranged marriage sort of thing. So this could be good for me, but my not favorite trope is like over the top antics, and this does sound like it could lean into that a little bit too much. So I guess we'll have to see if I get around to reading it. Then we have Miss Austen Investigates, which is like, I would call this a graphic cover because it's basically just a few things on the cover, mostly text. And this is, honestly, I'm assuming here because I haven't read the synopsis, but someone recommended this at some point. And I'm assuming it's Jane Austen investigating crimes as she's writing her books. Then we have the British Museums, and I would call this a minimalist cover. This is about especially the Benin bronzes, colonial violence and cultural restitution. So basically about how all these museums in the Western world have tons and tons of artifacts stolen, let's say it, from Africa and Asia. And it takes it leaps off, what's it called? It starts with the Benin bronzes and like that, the history of that and how it came to England, and you know, the so-called discussion about whether it should be repatriated and how and when and why, and you know, all that. So yeah, and that's really interesting. So I might read that either way. It has been on my TBR for a while. Then we have Tell Me How You Really Feel, which is another romance. So I don't know how I came up with all these romances, but this is sapphic, and that usually works better for me. Anyway, and this is about two, I think they're college students, or they knew each other from college at least. Rachel asked out Sana, I think her name was, we'll just call her that. Rachel asked out Sana because she had a huge crush on her, but Sana refused because she was convinced that Rachel was making fun of her. And apparently they both had a crush on each other, but didn't really, like, the asking out didn't work out. And ever since they have kind of hated each other. But Rachel is trying to make a movie, and she needs to cast Sana because apparently she's perfect for that. And then obviously I am assuming they are going to come together and figure out their differences. And then we also have the Jasmine Throne, which is kind of, I would call this like oil painting-ish style of cover. And this is, I read a lot of synopses, so I'm just trying to remember. This is a woman whose brother is like on the throne and he has locked her up, and she is plotting revenge, basically. And I do own this one, so I felt like I should probably get it on my TBR somehow. And that was it for my TBR and my recommendations. Let me know if you have any cool covers you'd like to share. And yeah, I feel like we're only reading four books for this one. So, and again, I feel like it's one of those that you can just slot books in as you read for the other prompts. So this is definitely one of the more low-key prompts. And honestly, I'm not sure if Q did say that we could double up this year. We could last year, and I'm going to continue with that. Because even with doubling up, I only got one bingo last year. So I am going to do whatever I can to get as many prompts ticked off as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!